Oh goodness. Hey everybody, this is the Peaceful Warrior giving you my latest review of Naruto Chapter 605. And coming into this week's chapter, Obito is approaching the battlefield where Rin and Kakashi are supposed to be fighting for their lives against Jonin level and Anbu level Miss Ninja, who are supposed to be using like experimental bodies of some kind. And as he's getting closer, the left eye that he has begins to hurt. Now, this is the same eye that he gave to Kakashi primarily to protect Rin. And as he's getting even closer, he begins to see a vision through this left eye of Rin being stabbed by Kakashi with his Chidori. And Obito stunned. Kakashi is actually crying, and that's where last week's chapter left off. So a lot of people were speculating about, what that actually meant. Was that real? If so, why? Was this all an elaborate trap, or an elaborate genjutsu that Madara has Obito in? So these are the questions that were being asked in the run up to this week's chapter. So when we actually see this week's chapter, this is the real thing. Rin falls after Kakashi pulls his hand from her chest, and she's dead. I mean, Rin has officially died, and Kakashi killed her. And it's apparent that Kakashi didn't want to do it because he's crying. And he actually says Rin as if he's stunned at what he's actually done, despite obviously doing it intentionally. Some people were saying, well, it's a possibility that he may have stabbed her by accident. Well, that's impossible with his new Sharingan. His Sharingan was supposed to allow him to be able to go as fast as light, pretty much, and be able to see all the enemy's movements. So there's no way that a Sharingan, which can enable him to see things at the speed of light, is going to fail him in making a mistake of stabbing Rin. I mean, there's just no way. And all of a sudden, he and Obito both awaken their Mangekyo Sharingan from seeing Rin die. Now, perhaps Kakashi did it the old-fashioned way and killed somebody who was close to him. Obito awakened his because he saw the death of someone close to him. So both of them activated their Mangekyo Sharingans for two different reasons, but reasons that we're already familiar with within the Naruto series. And as Kakashi awakens his Sharingan, he falls out. He faints from the surge of emotion that is running through his body. Obito, however, he embraces his and he powers up with the surge of emotion that's going through his body. And all of a sudden, we see tree roots begin to expand massively from his upper right-handed shoulder and back. And we also see some black sticks expand from his body. Now these sticks look the only two things that I've seen these sticks resemble are the chakra blades that Nagato used in order to transmit chakra to his 6 paths of pain. And these also looks like the same sticks that Nagato had when he summoned the Geto Mazo to the battlefield when he was fighting Hanzo the Salamander. So these sticks, these are black sticks. These are not tree roots. But nevertheless, all this stuff is coming out from Obito, and he's screaming, like he's going into Super Saiyan mode. I mean, he practically is. And the Miss Ninja try to attack him, and all of their attacks slip right through him. Now, in my opinion, he's using his space-time migration jutsu by instinct, or it's by accident. It's as though his own body has a spider sense of some kind, and it activates its space-time migration jutsu whenever it's in jeopardy. Because we still, throughout these flashbacks, never see Obito intentionally recognize or be aware that he has used and can use a space-time migration jutsu. And some people might say, the Spiral Zetsu is the one that's helping him use his space-time migration jutsu. Well, that actually can't be the case, because he used his space-time migration jutsu to avoid being killed completely by that boulder. So he used his space-time migration jutsu before he even came in contact with Spiral Zetsu. So the Spiral Zetsu is a non-factor as to why Obito is able to use his space-time migration jutsu. But with that being said, he's using it and he doesn't even know it. I mean, so whatever the hell is going on, Kishimoto is going to have to explain to us how Obito is aware that he can use space-time migration. He's going to have to make that point clear to us. But with that being said, when Kakashi kills Rin, these Mist Ninja are like, damn, he got us. And after we worked so hard to get it. So it appears that they were not just like trying to kill Kakashi and Rin, but they were purposely trying to capture one of them. And apparently it's Rin. And so Kakashi, realizing that they're after Rin, he kills her in order to spare her from being captured again by the enemy. Because he promised to protect her. And imagine if, after everything he's been through with Obito, he lets her fall into enemy hands again, and he's not able to get her back. That would truly be painful. That, in his mind, will be a true letdown and a true failure of his promise to protect Rin. So in my opinion, my second theory that I gave as to why Kakashi killed Rin is correct, in that he views killing Rin by his own hand better than having her fall into enemy hands. And in that way, he's actually protecting Rin from the enemy. Even if she has to die by his own hands, at least he's protecting her and sparing her from being at the hands of the enemy. So in my opinion, I think that is exactly what we're seeing transpire in this week's chapter. Now, with that being said, Obito goes beast mode. He straight up goes beast mode. He charges in, and these Mist Ninja begin to attack him, and they say, you better not underestimate the bloody Mist Village. And he's like, yo, I'm not even going to recognize this. I don't know what he's talking about. He could be talking to that ninja, but if he was, he would say that out loud. So he's not talking about the ninja statement about don't underestimate the Blood Mist Village. He's apparently talking about the failure to protect Rin. He refuses to acknowledge that. He refuses to acknowledge that. And that's what he's saying to himself. But all their attacks slip through him, and he starts slicing and dicing. Now, he does this one move that is awesome. That the only other move that I've seen on par with this move that he does is Naruto when he first learns how to throw his Rasen Shuriken and have it expand so that it takes out one of Pain's bodies in the Pain Invasion arc. Obito, it appears to me like he grows a long wood blade out of his right hand using his Zetsu body, and he throws it at one of the Mist Ninja that is going after Rin's body, because the Mist Ninjas say, we need to get her body and we can't let it fall into enemy hands. So apparently they were after Rin's body. But this blade goes through this Mist Ninja, and Obito does a seal, and on his command, this wood blade expands with wood spikes all throughout this ninja's body. And I'm like, damn, you mean to tell me you can use wood like that? Man, if he's an amateur wood user, imagine what Hashirama could do. Oh, man. And on a side note, I wish that Kishimoto would do Hashirama justice, because I feel that we didn't get to see the full power of Hashirama when he was resurrected in Edo Tensei form to fight the third Hokage along with the second Hokage. And no. We did not get to see how strong the first Hokage truly was. So, but that's just a side note. Getting back to the actual review, Obito, he after he performs this move, the other Miss Ninja stop, and they're like, "Who is this cat?" Cause we didn't see nothing about him in our briefs and our scout reports or what have you, and he's doing all this, and all of a sudden we begin to see Obito looking at another dimension of some kind, and in this dimension, or in this other world, well, I really want to stick with dimension, he sees the tree wood roots that he's been using are spiraling towards the center, and at the center it appears to be the moon, but half of it is dark or either covered in blood, and all along these tree roots that are spiraling towards this blood covered moon are the body parts of the hidden Mist Ninja that he's decapitated, maimed, and even killed. And then he sees Ren's body lying there, and the Spiral Zetsu face begins to uncover, and he's like, I see, this is hell. So right now, Obito is having an episode of some kind in the middle of this fight that he's in. So that's where this week's chapter leaves us off at. Now, one thing that I do want to say is that I am actually surprised that these Mist Ninja identify themselves as the Bloody Mist Ninja, because it was my understanding that although the fourth Mizukage began rituals and practices that made the Mist Village into the Bloody Mist Village, I thought that once we understood that Tobi was controlling the fourth Mizukage, that the fourth Mizukage was actually good prior to being manipulated by Tobi. So it's like, you mean to tell me he was actually bad before he was manipulated by Tobi? I'm shocked, because when we see him in the Jinchuriki dimension talking with Naruto and being the so-called representative of the Jinchuriki, he actually seems like a good person. But who knows? I mean, apparently he actually instituted brutal and vicious policies as Mizukage, and he actually turned his village into the Bloody Mist Village before Tobi manipulates him, which is weird. In my opinion, it makes more sense if Tobi, after this fight, goes to the Hidden Mist Village, manipulates the fourth Mizukage as revenge for what happened to Ren, and he causes the downfall of the Mist Village through his manipulation of the fourth Mizukage. That, to me, makes a whole heck of a lot more sense. So it's like, wow, I just thought that the fourth Mizukage, after we learned that he was being controlled in Kasame's flashback, that he was actually good prior to being manipulated by Tobi. But, I guess we're going to have to find that out another day. But yeah, overall, this was a pretty good chapter. It was a pretty good chapter. Ren has died. Kakashi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, as did Obito. Although Kakashi fainted and apparently never remembered doing so until the time skip in Naruto. And Obito is going ham on the Miss Ninja responsible for surrounding Ren and Kakashi and forcing Kakashi to kill Ren because he couldn't protect her from being captured by the enemy once again. So, I'm just saying, I was kind of right. Second theory for the win. But anyway, this, like I said, this week's chapter was a pretty good chapter of Naruto. I was very pleased and very content. So tell me what you all think about those points, and I look forward to your feedback in the comment section. Take care. Have a great night.